Hello students, how are you all? We are going to start our chapter 2 of Civics, State Governments in India. In this chapter you will study about Union and States, State Legislature, composition of State Legislature, functions of the State Legislature, State Executives, the Governor, the Chief Minister and the Council of Ministers. Union and States. India is a union of states with 28 states and 8 union territories. The power is divided between the center and the state. In other words, it is called federation. Both the central government and the state government are independent in their working. The division of powers between the center and the states is on the basis of three lists: the union list, the state list, and the concurrent list. The Union List consists of subjects of national importance like defense, external affairs, currency, railways, communication, banking, post, and telegraph. Laws on these subjects can be made by the Union government only. Similarly, the state list contains subjects like maintaining law and order in the state, police, health, transport, land policies, etc., on which only the state can make laws. However, in times of emergency, laws on state subject can be made by the central government also. The concurrent list includes subjects like education, forest, electricity, labor welfare, etc. Both the central and state governments are empowered to legislate on these subjects. The central government is more powerful as it has more power, more resources, and more finances. Still, the state government have an independent identity and a very important role to play in the Indian federal system. State legislature. The state legislature makes the law at the state level. The state legislature may be unicameral or bicameral. The states with bicameral legislature have two houses: the Legislative Assembly, Vidhan Sabha, and the Legislative Council, Vidhan Parishad. Unicameral state legislature has only one house, the Legislative Assembly, Vidhan Sabha. States like Bihar, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Uttar Pradesh, and Jammu Kashmir have bicameral legislatures. The number of members of an assembly depends on the population of the state. However, the minimum strength is 60 and the maximum cannot be more than 500. Its members are directly elected by the people. The minimum age to be a member of Legislative Assembly is 25 years. This image is the image of Vidhan Sabha of Karnataka. Some seats are reserved for scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. Uttar Pradesh has 404 members in its Legislative Assembly and Mizoram has 40. The term of the Legislative Assembly is 5 years in case it is not functioning according to the Constitution. It can be dissolved earlier also. In such a situation, the President's rule is imposed in that state. Like the Lok Sabha, the Legislative Assembly the Legislative Assembly has a Speaker and a Deputy Speaker. The Speaker presides over the meetings of the Assembly and conducts its business. The Legislative Council, Vidhan Parishad, is a permanent house which cannot be dissolved. The term of its member is 6 years, but one-third of its members retires after every 2 years. They are replaced by newly elected members. The Vidhan Parishad elects its chairperson and deputy chairperson from amongst its members. This is India's political map. The minimum number of members in a legislative council is 40 and it cannot exceed one-third of the total membership of the assembly of that state. The minimum age to be member of the council is 30 years. Composition of the state legislature. The state legislature, Legislative Assembly, Legislative Council, members directly elected by the people of the state by secret ballot. One-third of the members of the Legislative Council are elected by the members of the Legislative Assembly, MLAs, one-third by local government bodies, one-sixth by nominated by the governor, one-twelfth are elected by the teachers, one-twelfth are elected by graduates. Functions of the state legislature. The state legislature makes laws for the state on the subjects mentioned in the state list and the concurrent list. It passes the annual budget of the state. It keeps a check on the Council of Ministers of the states. The money bill can only be introduced in the Legislative Assembly When a bill is passed by the state legislature, it is sent to the governor for consent. The elected members of Legislative Assembly take part in the selection of the President of India with the elected members of Parliament. A proposal to pass a new law or to change existing one is called a bill. A bill on the subject under the state list or concurrent list can be introduced in either house or of the legislature, but a money bill can be introduced only in the Legislative Assembly. The bill is discussed and debated in three stages, then it is put to vote in both houses. If the majority of the members present in the house vote for the bill, it is sent to the other house. There also it goes through a similar procedure. When the bill is passed by both houses of the legislature of the state, it is sent to the governor for his assent to the bill. It becomes a law after the governor's assent. The governor may return the bill to the legislature with suggestions. The legislature may or may not accept the suggestion and send it back to the governor for assent. This time the governor shall not withhold assent to it. The state legislature exercises control over the state executive. It can question the policies and working of the state executive. During some fixed hours of the assembly or the council, members can question the members of the state executive and draw their attention to important issues. If the minister do not satisfy the legislature with their answers, the Vidhan Sabha may pass a vote of no confidence against the council of ministers. Then the council of ministers shall resign. The state legislature can move an adjournment motion to discuss an urgent issue. The state legislature participate in the election of the President of India and the elected ministers of the Rajya Sabha. In this way, we find that the Legislative Assembly is more powerful than the Legislative Council in the states. State executives. The state executive consists of the governor, the chief minister, and the council of ministers of the state. Composition of state executives. State executives, governor, chief minister. Governor, official head of the state, chief minister, the real head of the state, and council of ministers. The governor. There shall be a governor for each state. However, the same person can be appointed as governor for two or more states. This is an image of the chief minister taking oath from the governor. The governor is the constitutional or nominal head of the state executives. All executive power of state are exercised in the name of the governor, but the real functionary is the chief minister along the council of ministers. The governor of a state shall be appointed by the president. He/she holds office generally for a period of 5 years, but he/she can be removed by the president of India earlier also. Qualifications. To be the governor of a state, a person he/she should have completed the age of 35 years. He/she should be a citizen of India. He/she should not hold any office of profit. He/she should not be a member of either house of parliament or of a house of the legislature of any state. Powers and functions. The following powers are exercised in the name of the governor. He/she appoints the leader of the majority party in the state legislative assembly as the chief minister. He/she appoints the other minister of the state council on advice of the chief minister. He/she makes all appointments to the high offices, including the chairman and members of State Public Service Commission and Advocate General. The governor recommends the state annual budget before it is presented in the state legislative assembly. As a discretionary power, when no single party gets a clear majority in the assembly, the governor can use his discretion in appointing the chief minister. The governor has the power to summon and dissolve the legislative assembly on the recommendation of the chief minister. Do you know? C. Rajgopalachari was the last Governor General of India for 20 months. After him, the title of Governor General was abolished and replaced by the President of India. Do you know? The first woman Governor of independent India was Sarojini Naidu. She was appointed as Governor of Uttar Pradesh in 1947. This is the image of Chief Minister inspecting the Guard of Honor on Independence Day. Chief Minister and the Council of Ministers. The Chief Minister is the most important functionary of the state government. He enjoys the real executive power. He acts as a link between the governor and his council of ministers. The governor appoints the leader of the majority party as a chief minister, who then advises him on the appointment of other ministers of the council. All the powers regarding administration of a state are vested in the chief minister and her ministry. They are answerable to the state legislature, hence, they remain in power only as long as they enjoy the support of the majority in the assembly. Powers and functions of the chief minister. The chief minister is the leader of the council of ministers. She is the vital link between the governor and the council of ministers. Each minister is individually answerable to him. His resignation amounts to the resignation of the entire ministry. His main powers are: first, to direct the ministry and determine its policies, to supervise the administration of the state, to allocate, reallocate, or take back portfolios from her ministers, to coordinate the working of various ministries. Powers and functions of Council of Ministers. The administration of a state takes place through various departments, and different ministers are responsible for the portfolios. The main function is to run the departments according to the policies laid down by the Council of Ministers. They bring bills in the assembly for discussion and approval. Civil services. The brain behind the decision of our ministers are the officers of civil services, that is, officers of Indian Administrative Services and Indian Police Services. The State's Public Service Commission (PSC) also selects a number of officials. The Chief Secretary heads the civil services in a state. The Advocate General. Every state has an official called the Advocate General who gives advice to the executive on legal matters and perform other legal functions assigned. Do you know? There are 610 districts in India which are administered by their respective state UT government. By the governor, only a person qualified to be a high court judge is eligible for the post. Union territories. The areas directly administered by the union government are called union territories. They are: first, Andaman and Nicobar Islands, Lakshadweep, Puducherry, Dadar and Nagar Haveli, and Daman and Diu, Chandigarh, Delhi, Jammu and Kashmir, Ladakh. Such areas are small in size and population with the exception of Delhi, the capital of India. It is now called National Capital Territory of Delhi, NCT Delhi. It enjoys a special status unlike other union territories where the administration is under a lieutenant governor or chief commissioner only. Delhi has an elected assembly and a council of ministers headed by the chief minister. Do you know? The president may appoint the governor of a state as the administrator of an adjoining union territories. Summing up, the Constitution of India determines the organization, powers and functions of the state government. The organization of the state government includes the governor, the state legislature, and the state council of ministers. The Constitution provides for three lists: union, state, and concurrent. State legislative makes the laws at the state level. They may be unicameral or bicameral. The legislative assembly or the Vidhan Sabha of the state has two types of functions: legislative and financial. The governor has executive, discretionary, legislative, financial, and judicial powers. Discretionary power: the power vested in a political figure by the Constitution, which gives him or her the freedom to take decision on a particular situation. Money bill: a bill relating to the income or expenditure of the government is called money bill. Thank you class. Let's meet in the next class.